Hey guys, it's Takasta here. Welcome to another video review. So today I have for you the Microsoft Comfort Mouse 6000. So this mouse actually came out half a year ago to 9 months ago. So I haven't really been on the ball, but I had my eye on this mouse for a very long time, but it just really never caught my eye because it's actually quite a cheap mouse. So hopefully this review won't be too long, but this is, you're definitely in for a treat because personally for me this is really a gem. So I'm going to go through a lot of things, which you can see in the description below. So I'm going to be talking about its price, the product, the specs, a comparison actually with IE3 and Deathadder, the weight, the scroll wheel, the click tracking, and so on. So first of all, I'm going to start with the price. So as I said before, this is really a gem. The price of this mouse is priced at $29.99, which is a pretty cheap price. Actually, in Hong Kong, it's priced around 200 bucks. But I got it really cheap for a discount for 150, so that's why I just picked it up like a no-brainer. I kind of like impulse bought this mouse. So it's a very cheap mouse. So what does it bring with it? Really, it's one of the few mice that use the Microsoft Bluetrack sensor. Bluetrack has been out for quite a while, but for those who you don't know, Bluetrack is basically they replace this sensor, this optical sensor or laser sensor, whatever, with a large blue beam, as you can see, like in the camera. And basically, because the beam is much larger, it's able to track on more surfaces, so it's not prone to getting caught in very tight spaces, such as if you're using it on carpet, it actually tracks on carpet as well. So that's a really cool feature. And for $29.99, you get Bluetrack in such a simple mouse. That's I think it's a pretty good steal. In terms of its specs, first of all, it's stuck at 1000 DPI, so you can't change that. There's no firmware to change that, although there's firmware for Mac and PC. You can't change it, so it's just very standard. Maybe not so suitable for gaming, but if you don't mind it, it's okay. And it's 125 Hz, which also you actually can't change that as well. For people who are used to high polling rate gaming, this mouse would not be for you. In terms of its weight, I forgot the exact specs of this mouse, but it feels extremely light. It's like we're talking about like 80 grams probably. I can't remember the specs. I should have checked it up. But you're talking about Kana weight. It's heavier. I have my IE3 here. It's definitely heavier than my IE3. So IE3 is about 100 grams, so this is probably 80 grams, 85 grams. Very light mouse. Now, moving on to its quality. So this mouse, as you can see, let me really talk about the shape of it. This is an ergonomic mouse, and it's when you first look at it, it's really resemblant of a couple other mice that I own. The IE3 and the Deathadder. So for me, it really is a fairly similar combination to the IE3 and the Deathadder, if not even the Zoe EC in fact, but I personally think the shape is better than the Zoe EC. So it really joins its band of brothers in this ergonomic tour. So first of all, if you're talking about the shape, it is slightly larger though. So when you hold the Deathadder, for those who use the Deathadder is slightly smaller, and this is slightly longer actually. Even when you use the IE3, I think this mouse in my hand, it feels slightly longer because it's slightly more elongated. Next thing, it has a very smooth tip. If you can see, it just smooths out and it's quite square. Whereas you can, for the IE3, it's quite round. It just smooths downwards. This one smooths forwards and it's very long. Whereas it's kind of like the Deathadder, but Deathadder you can see the grooves, which is a very stereotypical razor. This one is just very flat. So that's just a nice feature. Second of all, unlike the Deathadder, obviously they used a glossy surface. For the IE3, they used a matte surface. For the Comfort Mouse 6000, they used a very much rubberized matte surface. A very rubberized matte surface. It's akin to that of like the rubber on in a gym. When you go on a gym, you step on the floor and you feel that kind of rubber. This is what it feels like. And it's when I first bought it, it's really too smooth. However, once I got used to it, I actually quite like it. It gives really good grip. So that's actually quite nice. The third thing, another thing is the thumb rest. So unlike these, for the IE3, actually, if I can show you, it goes in quite a bit for the thumb. Same for the Deathadder. However, The Comfort Mouse 6000 is quite like the Zoe EC. It doesn't go in that much. However, that said, for some reason, I like the grip on this more than the Zoe EC, and it's actually comparable to these two as well. Not being the grip not being so inwards, let's just say. Overall, just in general comparison, the Deathadder and the IE3, the quality of the surface is really nice. The rubber is really good. It's very, very different from what I've used before, but if you can hear the clicking, it's just quite nice overall. Alright, next I'm going to move on to the clicking. So here, if you can see the click, you can hear the click. It's not that easy to click, but it's not that hard to click as well, but it's more on the easier side. But it does make quite a large audio noise when you click, so compared to Deathadder. It's quite loud, and compared to the IE3, it is quite loud. So that's one thing you might want to notice. Next thing is actually also the middle button. So the middle button you can click like this. And there's actually a problem that some people have been complaining, and I'll do this in the next test video. I'll do some tests of the sensor and also the click. The responsiveness of the middle button, like when you click like this, it actually has like a 0.1 second delay or 0.15 second delay, like a noticeable delay. So for people who want to game, people say they try to switch weapons like that, clicking the middle button, and it's really slow response. So this is actually quite bad for gaming. It's quite unfortunate, but it just so happens that this is it. Now onto the scroll wheel. So to do a scroll wheel comparison, I'll be comparing these three mouse. So the scroll wheel on this is actually very smooth. If you can, very, very smooth. But at the same time, it's very tactile. It's smooth, but you can feel all the clicks clicking in it. So it's actually a very, very nice sensation. As compared to the Deathadder, you can see Deathadder is also smooth, but it has bigger dents, so it goes. You can feel the dent even stronger. However, this one's slightly smoother. You don't feel them, and they don't stop as quick. Whereas you can see the IE3, it's a very, very big stoppage. With each dent, it clicks very loud, very audible click, and you can feel every single dent. Some people like this scroll wheel is very personal, but this is one that's definitely quite nice. They really don't cheat you out of it. And quite unique, actually. I've never seen a scroll wheel done like this. So the smoothness and the slight tactileness of how you scroll, you can hear that, is quite nice. Next, I'm going to be talking about the tracking. So the tracking, like I said before, is stuck at 1000 Hz. However, it is, in my opinion, very, very smooth. Very, very smooth mouse. However, the bad thing is it actually has a slight prediction, which I'll probably be testing in my test video as well. So for those, maybe like you call it angle snapping, it has a slightly, but it's not that serious. In terms of acceleration, there is no positive acceleration if you use it on a PC. However, if I use it on a Mac, through firmware, you can actually turn off the acceleration or turn on the acceleration, depending on if you use the Microsoft firmware. If you use the Microsoft firmware, there is acceleration. If you turn it off and use the Mac tracking, like mouse firmware, it doesn't have acceleration. So that's one thing you want to consider. The last thing I want to talk about is the liftoff distance. So this mouse, quite a high liftoff distance. I think something like 2 millimeters. At first, I didn't think was bearable. However, I added maybe one layer or two layers of mouse feet on, which you can buy on my site, by the way. And it makes it a little bit better. However, it's still not as good as I want it to be. But after maybe a day's use of gaming and other stuff, I think it's okay. Now I quite like it. In conclusion, overall, just a really, really good cheap mouse for its price. You really get your bang for the buck. Although you only get 1000 DPI, you only get 125 Hertz, non-adjustable. The middle button's kind of clicky, whatever. But in general, it's just a very comfortable mouse. It's the ergonomic and the size of it really makes me really happy when I use this mouse. For some reason, I like switching mice a lot, and this one I might use for quite a long time. Because for just general surfing and general stuff, it's just very, very comfortable, and in fact, I think sometimes even more comfortable than other mice as well. So this is my review, so hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure you guys subscribe, and I'll be posting a test video sometime later.